Today is Friday, October 4th, and today I learned a formula for adding certain characteristics into your day. Basically, last night I was going through my notes because in my notes app I have like thousands of notes and I want to at least put a dent in that and try to think through things and go through them. And one of the first ones was about actually just having fun in your day. And so today I was just thinking a lot about that. I was thinking a lot about how can I make my days more fun? And I've talked about this before in a different video. But I realized that I can apply what I was thinking about of how to make a day more fun to just applying that to making a day more blank and put any characteristic that you want in there. The original note was like a 3 or 4 step series of steps where it was what are some experiences or memories where you remember having lots of fun, and then what were the common characteristics of those, and then utilize those and try to do things that have those common characteristics. And so I was kind of just using that kind of like a journal prompt, and I was just thinking through that just for myself. And then I realized I can turn this into a applied formula for more than just having fun, but for being more productive or being the kind of person that you want to be. So I just kind of want to go through what my thinking was. So when I was still thinking about making a day more fun, I basically just did what that little 3 steps were, and I tried to find the common characteristics of times when I remember just having lots of fun. The 3 common characteristics I found were that I was with friends or family, people that I like being around. It was usually active, I was usually doing something, some sport or something like that, and it was usually outdoors. So those were the 3 common characteristics of the fun times that I remember having. And I just tried to think about I could probably create a fun activity by hitting at least 2 of those. And if I hit 3, then that's really fun. But yeah, as I said, this is kind of like a template that can be applied to other things other than just having fun. So I was just thinking through this, writing in my notes, just thinking through what other things can this be applied to and how can I kind of tweak this a little bit so that it's a little bit more general. So I figured out this formula to finding the factors, finding things that you should be adding into your life because you want to be this kind of person or because you want to achieve this kind of thing. So basically the whole thing is surrounding around a Venn diagram and around similarities and differences. I feel like that is the core of this little framework that I've made. So for an example, because this is an example that I can most easily apply to myself and it is something that I've done before, so I know how I would do this, but feel free to apply this to whatever characteristic you're trying to add into your life, whether that is having a more fun life, having a more productive life, becoming a certain type of person. But for my example, as I'm explaining this, I'm going to use becoming a better softball player, because that is something that I think about a lot, and I've done this before subconsciously within that area. But yeah, apply this to your own thing. So the first step is to, I guess what I just mentioned, to understand what characteristic are you trying to replicate, whether that is fun, productivity, or a certain skill or a certain identity. So being athletic person, or being a student, being a learner, or being a drummer, or being a musician, or maybe just a certain skill, how can I incorporate coding into my life? That kind of thing. So identify what you're trying to replicate. And if you click on this video, then you probably have something in mind, but that is the first step. So the second step is to identify a person that has what you want, or an experience where you were able to apply this characteristic. Just identify a situation, whether that be environmental or mental, or a certain person that you look up to that has this attribute or characteristic. Identify those and try to have a few, maybe 4 or 5, I think are a good number. And one of the ways that I am able to find these kinds of things is watching day in the life videos. I have watched so many like baseball and softball day in the life videos, and I kind of know like what, like if I want to be at the level that they're at, what kind of things I should be doing to get there to replicate what they're doing. So I think watching day in the life videos is an underrated technique to becoming a certain identity. So watch day in the life videos to understand like what you should be adding into your life, because that's ultimately what we're trying to do. We find these day in the life videos or these certain experiences or environments, and we figure out what are the similarities and differences between all of these. So when I watch 5 day in the life videos, a lot of them include a strength workout in the morning, like most of them. So I'm like, okay, I should probably be doing a strength workout in the morning. So that is something that I can add to my life. That is a similarity. But then a difference could be, for me, let's say one of the differences is the workout they're doing, or the kind of things they're training in their free time, or like what specific things they're training. I feel like the differences, at least within this softball identity example that I'm giving, a lot of the differences are more on the smaller scale. Because if I watch a bunch of these day in the life videos and I understand they all have very similar schedules, they all have very similar things that they do, but within those routines, they're doing slightly different things. So to apply this to whatever identity you're trying to build, find those similarities and differences and make sure that the similarities that you keep seeing again and again, make sure you're adding that into your routine, because those are pretty obviously proven to be working, because they are working for that person who is in the position that you want to be in. And then for the differences, I think it's good to use the differences to make it a little more interesting, because right now I just feel like my days are very repetitive, because I do think I am doing the right things within my schedule, but within those routines, it's very repetitive. So I try to switch up my workout every now and then, switch up like what exercises I'm doing. Like if I find a different workout that just seems more interesting and just different, then I like to try different workouts just to make it more interesting. So within the similarities that you find, make sure that you are adding all of the ones that are pretty obviously like in everything, like in all of the day in the life videos or experiences that you're analyzing. Make sure you are adding those into your routine. And then for the differences, just like add those in every now and then to just make it interesting, because having a very repetitive routine is very repetitive. Like that's obvious, but at least my routine right now is just very repetitive, and even though I'm technically doing the right things, there's still ways to just make it interesting. So yeah, that's kind of like my little formula. Basically, my whole takeaway was to analyze, when you're trying to analyze something, look at the similarities and differences between different use cases and different situations. I do think that is really helpful in finding, like you get insights that you don't usually get, because the similarities help you reinforce what is really, really important, and the differences help you see how those similarities are being applied in different ways. So I just think that using just like a Venn diagram and figuring out like what are the similarities and differences is a very powerful tool for just analyzing anything. I've talked about this before, like whenever I analyze something, I usually think about the what, the why, and the how. And I feel like thinking about the similarities and differences is just another tool in my toolkit for analyzing things. Like what are the similarities and differences within within different situations or environments or whatever. So yeah, that is kind of my formula for becoming a certain identity and trying to figure out what you should be adding to your routine in order to become that person that you want to be. So to recap, this formula involves figuring out what identity are you actually trying to become, research like role models, like other people, day in the life videos, like find those people and those routines that are from somebody who is already in that position, and then identify the similarities and differences between a bunch of those different people or situations so that you can add what you know is important and add what you can repeatedly see is important, and so that you can apply those things differently throughout the differences and make it a little bit more interesting. But that is my formula for trying to become a certain identity. And I guess the overall takeaway is to have Venn diagrams in your toolkit for analyzing things, because I've recently realized that they are really helpful. So one last thing, I'm going to try to make these little journal prompt, little worksheet thingies for my videos, because I think that would just make it a little more fun and a little more helpful for you guys, so that you don't have to try to draw your own Venn diagram and do your own stuff. So I'm going to try to make little worksheets, maybe with a few extra stuff that I didn't talk about in the video. Try to do that for each video. So today I will have a worksheet. You will click the first link in the description below, and there's going to be a little worksheet template thing where you can go through this formula for trying to become a certain identity. Yeah, that is what I have to say today. That is my formula. I haven't been making videos that have structured formulas, so I do think those videos are generally more applicable. So if you like this video, then definitely hit the like button and comment down below what kind of identity you're trying to become. What are you going to apply this to? Maybe you're trying to become a musician, maybe you're trying to become more athletic, maybe you're trying to become a runner, what kind of identity are you trying to become? And let me know down in the comments below so that we can keep each other accountable. If you want to see more of these videos, then definitely subscribe, because I am posting every single day daily insights talking about what I learned that day and how I'm trying to apply it to my life and how you guys can apply it to yours. So if you want to see those kinds of videos, then definitely subscribe. And if you subscribe, then I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye!